Welcome to the Uncommon Truth. Today, Bob and I are joined by our guest host, Irwin Ki from San Francisco, California. Why is selling perceived in such a negative light to so many people? And I know for me, I don't want to be sold. I actually want to be heard. I want to know that this is going to meet my needs, whatever it might be, buying a car, a house, groceries, whatever it is. That's kind of it. So what is your thought on why are people adverse to being sold something?
And everyone's had a poor experience with a salesperson that's trying to ram a product down their throat, maybe the first car they bought or something like that, right? So it's got to, and there's a history of salespeople not treating people very well. So through your past experience, through the past stories of your friends and your family, salespeople, they have a very low prestige value with a salesperson in most people's head. The other thing is that people don't really understand that they're selling all the time, that they're actually salespeople. When they all go look for a job, they're selling their talents. We're a supervisor, you're asking people to do things, you're motivating people to do things, you're selling all the time. So they don't think of the natural sales things that they do as being sales tasks. So they probably don't. They have um, this this blank slate about what does a salesperson do? What are the skills of sales? So when people come into a class and they start to learn about sales, they're often very surprised that they do use a lot of sales skills. They sell a lot in their lives. So it's an eye-opening experience to be trained in sales, I think, for the novice person. Um, I also think that the thought of rejection, the thought of asking somebody for a sale, asking for something from somebody and being told no is like a crushing thought for most people. Not many people like to be rejected. In fact, it may be one of the biggest fears people have is the fear of rejection. So, and sales in the past has all been about surviving the rejection factor. Irwin, take it from there.
So when I was thinking about this question, thanks for sharing, Bob. And you hit on the second one. I was gonna hit on the second one, so you cut it to that way for me. Like when people think of sales, they think of it from a perspective of I'm gonna sell, and there's fear in selling because of the fear of rejection, the fear of expressing yourself, and I mean, if you even think about finding your first mate, like that alone, I remember was a big growth process in sales, which is you need to go out and before the days of Tinder, you need to go out and talk to people like women or, whoever you're attracted to cold. And it's terrifying. It's, that was a huge, huge barrier to it's just scary, because you don't know what to say. You don't want to do. It's uncomfortable. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to look bad. So much fear. So when I think of that question, I think of it from I'm selling perspective. It's actually more negative than being sold to, because I find that a lot of salespeople I talk to are actually pretty decent. And I think when you think of the world of on being sold to side, the negativity really comes from regret when they were sold something that just didn't work out, or the product and services isn't what they want. And because of a great salesperson or feeling pressure, I don't think people like the pressure of the close when they really aren't in their heart congruent with the purchase. Or if they were, they end up getting something that they did not want to buy, or they have regret at the end of the day. So I think when I think of sales and the bad rep it gets, it's usually because the salesperson is so darn good in certain ways or assertive that they sell them something that they didn't really they didn't get the value out of it. And there's more of that than great products and great salespeople. And I was fortunate to partner with companies that have great solutions. But I also heard horror stories where there's a new feature or a new product line, and a customer, was sold because of the great relationship and rapport, and because of the first product, it didn't work, and he ended up getting fired from the job. And I'm just like, ugh, great salesperson, closed the deal, but as a customer, you were trusting that salesperson and you bought the product, and you end up getting fired because that was one of the first product lines in that corporation, and now you're out of a job. And that I think of is, so just regret or being too good of a salesperson, that's where the negativity comes from, is that pain. Because when you're talking to great salespeople, I mean, I remember going to even an Audi dealership, or just like, some of these people have learned not to. From what I've seen in salespeople today, is there's more skill than maybe in the past. And I always felt like the people, maybe I'm just lucky, the salespeople I've always run into are pretty understanding of my needs for the most part. But anyways.
Yeah, I think you've said it really, really well, and that we can oversell very easily because we're focused on what we want or the company wants, instead of being focused back on what are the actual needs of the client. And I think because if we don't understand that, then invariably there will be misunderstanding. And then from misunderstanding comes mistrust. And ultimately, trust is the key to any relationship if we want it to be win-win. What do we think that the best way to ensure that we do bring value? Is it always trying to close a sale? Or is sometimes the best response, when you've understood that there isn't the right fit, that you actually tell them the truth and it's not a good fit, but recommend another party or another competitor, even in that case? This is a real focus on that truth factor.